I ordered a bowl of spicy Malatang. When the delivery guy arrived, I noticed the meat inside smelled rotten. I immediately messaged the restaurant. The meat has been sitting out this long, and you still have the nerve to sell it to customers? The restaurant replied instantly, "Oh, really? We just bought this meat today. It's guaranteed fresh." Attached was a photo. On a chopping block was a severed human head, covered in blood. I screamed. The phone in my hand dropped straight to the floor. Looking at the smelly bowl of Malatang next to me, my initial anger completely morphed into utter horror. What was the restaurant owner implying? Was he saying he had murdered someone, and the meat in my bowl of Malatang was the victim's flesh? Even though I hadn't touched the food, my stomach churned and I felt violently nauseous. I forced myself to calm down, picking up the phone with trembling hands. The conversation with the owner took place on the food delivery platform. In the chat group, besides me and the owner, the delivery guy was also present. The delivery guy clearly saw the message and the photo from the owner, and he was so terrified that he sent several rapid messages. What the hell? Are you serious or joking, man? Don't mess with me like that. I fought back the urge to vomit and reopened the photo the owner had sent. I was too panicked to look closely before. Now I could clearly see a human head on the chopping block. The flesh was bloody and mangled, making the features unclear, but I could vaguely tell it was a man. Next to it was a pile of chopped meat. The photo also showed a pot boiling something. It did not look like a malicious prank at all. I'm genuinely about to throw up. I quickly grabbed my phone, intending to call the police, but just then, ding dong, my doorbell rang. My nerves were already stretched taut, and the sudden sound made me jump. Who is it? A man's hurried voice quickly sounded from outside the door. It's me, the delivery guy who just dropped off your hot pot. I walked to the door and peered through the peephole. It was indeed the yellow delivery uniform, helmet on, and a gentle face, the exact young man who had delivered my food. Only then did I dare unlock the door, but I kept the security chain latched. I cracked the door open slightly, looking at him warily. Why did you come back? The delivery guy, whose face was slick with sweat, looked extremely anxious. Sarah Jenkins, you saw the message and the photo the owner sent in the group, right? I called the police, but I kept thinking that you might not have noticed the messages. What if you accidentally ate it or threw the bowl away, and then the police wouldn't have the evidence? That's why I rushed back. I was surprised by his earnestness. Don't worry, I swallowed hard. I saw the messages. I haven't touched the bowl at all. That's good then. The delivery guy breathed a sigh of relief. I don't know if that owner is pulling a sick joke or being serious. We'll just have to wait for the police to handle it. With that, he quickly rushed off to continue his other deliveries. But I had no mind for anything else. I didn't dare touch the bowl of Malatang in the dining room. I hid in my bedroom, clinging to my phone and waiting for the police to contact me. My phone suddenly vibrated. I looked down quickly, another message from the food delivery platform. It was from the owner. Which one of you two called the cops? I was just kidding, and you actually believed me? The police are here at my shop now. Right after, he sent another picture showing a few police officers inside his restaurant. I froze. The owner said that, and the police hadn't contacted me about the hot pot. Was this really just a sick joke from him? I was furious. I angrily replied, "What kind of joke is that? You're insane." No one replied in the chat group. The delivery guy must still be on the road, as there was no response from him either. I was so angry I wanted to throw my phone. But then I noticed the community chat group for the Westlake Towers apartment building kept popping up with notifications. Since that group had many older residents who often chatted about trivial things, I usually ignored it. But today, scrolling through, I faintly saw the words, "police." My eyelids twitched and I quickly clicked to see. What's going on with that little Malatang shop chili bomb hot pot down on Maple Avenue? Why are there so many police cars parked outside? Oh my god, I just secretly asked around. It seems the owner murdered someone. Is that true? I remember the owner. He seemed so gentle and honest. How could he kill someone? Is there a mistake? No mistake. I deliberately asked an officer. He really did kill someone. Not only that, he's fled. No one knows where he is now. Oh my gosh, everyone look! The city police department information page is posting an alert. Attached was a link. I quickly clicked it. Sure enough, it was the official police information page for our precinct. The owner of the Malatang shop, Ken Lee, 20, address 33 Maple Avenue, is suspected of intentional murder and concealing a corpse. He has been officially issued an arrest warrant. Lee is currently on the run, his whereabouts unknown. The public is advised to immediately contact the police if they spot Lee. Attached was a photo of a man with a buzz cut and a round face. In an instant, I felt all my limbs go cold. So, this hot pot owner really was a murderer. What was even more terrifying was that he was now missing. Just as I was overwhelmed by terror, my phone vibrated again. I looked down another SMS message. Nowadays, people primarily use messaging apps. Other than bank alerts and verification codes, I rarely receive messages like this. I clicked to view it. It was from an unknown number. Did you call the cops? I shuddered and the phone almost slipped from my hand again. Who was it? Who sent me this message? Could it be the owner? I was so scared that I was about to call the police, but immediately another new message came through. Was it you? You dare report me? Aren't you afraid of my revenge? Believe it or not, I'll chop off your head and make Malatang out of it too. What flavor of hot pot do you like? Oh, you ordered spicy and numbing, so I'll cook it that way, all right? Messages poured in one after another. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. I felt the bones in my fingers going numb. I couldn't take it anymore and frantically tried to call the police. But in the peak of my panic, my hand trembled, and I accidentally misdialed the strange number that had just messaged me, calling him directly. Ah! I cried out in horror, quickly trying to press the disconnect button, but it was too late. The dial tone rang out at the same time. The distinctive iPhone ringtone echoed from the living room outside my bedroom. Immediately after, my phone vibrated and a new text message popped up. I've come to find you. All the blood in my body seemed to freeze. That ringtone, why was it so close? It emanated from the empty living room. Could the killer, that owner, be in my living room? The thought flashed through my mind and my brain felt like it was about to explode. My body reacted faster than my thoughts. I sprang out of bed, slammed the bedroom door shut with a thud, and quickly locked it. Immediately, I called the police. I trembled, pressing the phone to my ear, my entire body shaking uncontrollably. But I waited a long time and didn't hear a connection tone. I quickly looked down and saw that my phone screen was dark. I frantically tapped the screen, but there was no response. My limbs were cold. How could I be this unlucky? At such a critical moment, my phone had run out of battery. I desperately searched for a charging cable in the room, but then remembered the charger was in my office, including my laptop and anything else that could connect me to the outside world. Everything was in the office. I wanted to open the window and scream for help to the people downstairs, but my apartment was on the 22nd floor, making it impossible. I sank onto the floor in despair, taking deep breaths, forcing myself to calm down. Calm down. You have to be calm, Sarah Jenkins. After settling down, I started to think. First, rationally speaking, my front door has always been locked. The possibility of the killer entering my apartment is extremely small. But why was there a phone ringing in the living room? I was certain there was no other phone in my living room. Moreover, the phone rang with a strange coincidence right when I called the killer owner. Even with 1 in a million odds, I couldn't risk it. Now, I was extremely tense, holed up in my room. Since the killer was now on the police radar, I believed they would surely investigate my Malatang order soon and track him to me. I just needed to hold out. I waited silently for an unknown length of time. Cold sweat drenched my back, but there was no movement outside the door, no phone ringing, no footsteps, until a rapid succession of knocks suddenly sounded from outside the door. My nerves instantly tightened. Immediately after, I heard an agitated voice from outside. "Hey, are you okay? It's the delivery guy who delivered your order." I was stunned. The delivery guy. Why had he returned? With both the main door and my bedroom door separating us, I had to yell out, "Why are you here?" The delivery guy outside the main door loudly replied, "I saw the information online. That Malatang owner really did kill someone. I was worried something happened to you, so I specially came back to check." Hearing those words, I suddenly felt like crying. Perhaps because my nerves had been tense for so long, and suddenly someone appeared to break the stalemate. Suddenly, having someone care about me made me feel like I saw hope. I couldn't help but shout, "I'm worried the owner is in my apartment. I don't dare go out." The delivery guy outside the door seemed startled when he heard me. "He's in your house? Wait a minute, I'm coming in. What's your apartment code?" My door was a keypad lock, so anyone with a code could enter. At that moment, I was truly terrified and desperately needed someone to confirm the situation inside the apartment. So, without thinking, I blurted out, 331. A faint sounded from outside the door, followed immediately by the sound of the door opening. I waited nervously, listening to the rushing, chaotic footsteps outside the room. A minute or so passed, and I heard the delivery guy's voice. "Sarah, I checked. There's no one in your house." Even though he said that, I didn't dare relax. I shouted, but I heard a phone ringing in the living room earlier. The delivery guy outside paused for a moment, and then the sound of footsteps resumed. Right after, I heard his voice, sounding relieved. I found the phone. "Come out now." Only then did I cautiously open the door, and I saw the delivery guy standing there, making a call. Yes, the Westlake Towers, Unit 2206. He left a phone at the door. "Please send someone to check it out." After hanging up, he turned and smiled at me. He then held up his other hand, which held an iPhone. He explained, "I checked. There's no one inside, but there was a phone placed right outside your front door. The ringtone you heard was actually coming from outside." I understood. Because I was in the bedroom when I heard the phone outside, I naturally assumed the sound was coming from the living room because I could hear it. But the phone was actually outside the main door, and perhaps the volume was maxed out, which made me think it was inside the house. I was completely relieved, yet still felt fear, even though I knew the Malatang owner hadn't entered my apartment. The thought of him tracking me down to my address and creepily placing a phone by my door still terrified me. "Thank you so much." I looked up at the delivery guy sincerely, feeling a bit remorseful and regretful. Honestly, I shouldn't have let him in. He should have just stayed outside and called the police immediately. Because I was so scared, I desperately hoped someone would come to my aid, so I recklessly gave him the code to enter. But thinking about it now, what if the killer owner was actually inside my house? Wouldn't I have pushed this guy into danger? Luckily, the killer owner only left a phone at the door. He wasn't physically present. Hearing my words, the delivery guy awkwardly scratched his head. I didn't think too much about it. I just thought you were a girl alone and must be terrified, so I rushed right in." He then shyly looked at me, his whole face flushed, and his voice became softer. And I don't mind getting into a bit of danger for you." I suddenly understood something, and my face felt warm too. I couldn't help but secretly glance at the delivery guy. Before, everything was so chaotic that I didn't get a good look at him, only remembering that he looked a bit gentle, paler than typical delivery people. But looking closely now, I realized he was actually very handsome, and he looked quite young. He didn't have the rough, hardened look of regular delivery drivers. Instead, he was clean, neat, and had a slightly scholarly air. I couldn't help but ask, "What's your name? Are you doing this job full-time?" "My name is Ethan Cole." He smiled at me, revealing charming dimples. "I'm not full-time. I'm a student at Eastern Shores University, and just doing this part-time for some spending money." "You're an Eastern Shores University student?" I was genuinely surprised. I also went to Eastern Shores University. I only graduated 2 years ago. The young man immediately cheered up when he heard me. "Oh, so you're my upperclassman? That's awesome." Surprisingly, Ethan Cole and I got along very well. I even almost forgot all my fear until the sound of police sirens echoed from downstairs. Very quickly, a group of police officers entered my apartment. They carefully questioned me about the entire incident, meticulously took away my bowl of Malatang, and thoroughly photographed my room and the area outside the door. They also asked the building management to review the surveillance footage. The camera footage clearly showed that just as I was resting in my room, a man wearing a raincoat and a hat covering his face stealthily appeared outside my door. The man seemed very familiar with the apartment complex's camera system, as his face was completely obscured. The footage only showed him carefully studying the keypad lock for a long time before quietly placing a phone outside my door. "That's definitely the culprit," I said, frightened, my body trembling constantly. Thinking that this insane killer was just a few feet away from me, separated only by a door, sent chills down my spine. The police nodded. It's likely Ken Lee. He probably thought you were the one who called the police and wanted revenge. I found it utterly ridiculous. This Ken Lee was truly insane. If he was afraid of me calling the police, why would he send me that horrific photo in the first place? The police saw I was still scared and reassured me. Don't worry. We'll leave 2 officers downstairs to protect you for a while. I relaxed slightly, but a more pressing question concerned me. Was the meat in my Malatang bowl really the victim's flesh? Even though I didn't eat it if it really was the victim. Just the thought of touching it would be a lifelong psychological trauma for me. The officer gently replied, "We can't confirm that yet, but the victim was indeed processed and cooked at a high temperature. Because the body was severely mutilated, we can't confirm if any part was sent to you." Even though the officer tried to soften his words, this brief description, combined with the photo the killer sent me on the food delivery platform earlier, made me unable to stop imagining the gruesome scene. I almost gagged. "Have you identified the victim yet?" I asked. I wondered who was so tragic, not only losing their life, but having their body desecrated like that after death. The police officer shook his head, because the body was so severely damaged, and the culprit, though vicious, was extremely careful and cleaned the scene thoroughly. We still haven't been able to identify the victim. I quickly said, "Kinley sent me a picture on the food delivery platform, right? The severed head on the chopping block? Can't that photo help you identify the deceased?" Although the photo didn't show a clear face, the police could surely discern more information. The officer nodded. "Yes, now that we have your photo, we definitely have an added clue." Hearing the police say this, I couldn't help but be stunned. "You hadn't seen this photo before?" "No," the officer admitted. After Ken Lee committed the crime, he drove his personal car and fled, leaving his phone behind. We never suspected he would be crazy enough to deliver the flesh as takeout, or even send pictures like that to a customer, so we didn't check the food delivery platform records. I was even more dumbfounded. The person who reported the crime was clearly Ethan Cole. Didn't he show the conversation thread to the police then? No, more precisely. Judging by the officer's tone, they seemed completely unaware that Ken Lee had delivered the Malatang to me before this moment. Otherwise, the bowl of Malatang, such a critical piece of evidence, they would have come to me much earlier. I had been waiting at home for the police to contact me. I wondered why they hadn't shown up until now. But it seemed they only just learned that Ken Lee had delivered a portion of the hot pot containing the body to me. This was all too strange. Did Ethan Cole not mention this when he called the police? But if he didn't, how did he explain knowing that Ken Lee had committed murder? I felt a strange unease in my heart. Just as I was about to ask, an officer's phone suddenly rang. The officer answered the call and his expression immediately changed. "What? They found Ken Lee's car? Good, we'll be there right away." After hanging up, the officer immediately told me, "Sarah Jenkins. The killer Ken Lee tried to drive out of the city but got into an accident on the highway and was intercepted by the traffic police. We're heading over to deal with it now. You should be safe here." Hearing that the killer was caught, I felt a weight lift off me and collapsed onto the sofa. The police officers rushed away. Since the killer was caught, they didn't leave anyone behind to guard me. After the police left, Ethan Cole didn't rush to leave, but looked at me worriedly. "Are you okay?" I managed a weak smile. "I'm fine. I just need to be alone for a bit." Ethan Cole was very understanding and stood up. "All right, I'll go then. Call me if anything happens." We had exchanged numbers earlier. After seeing Ethan Cole downstairs, I realized I was so hungry, my stomach was rumbling. It made sense. I hadn't eaten anything since noon. But now, the thought of meat made me feel nauseous. So I bought some bread at the apartment complex gate and headed home. Unexpectedly, just as I got back to my apartment and was changing my shoes at the door, before I even turned on the light, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I answered the call and immediately heard the urgent voice of the police officer from earlier. "Sarah Jenkins, is that you? We found Ken Lee's car, but we discovered the driver wasn't Ken Lee." "What?" My face changed drastically. The officer spoke very quickly. We questioned the driver. Someone gave him money and told him to impersonate Ken Lee and drive out of the city. I panicked. So Ken Lee hadn't been caught? He could still come for me? Terrified, I quickly turned around and locked the door securely. Unexpectedly, the officer on the phone quickly added, "No, that's not possible. Sarah Jenkins, I'm calling you because I have something else to tell you. The forensics department just called. Because the body at the Malatang shop was chopped up and cooked at a high temperature, and the blood at the scene was cleaned up very thoroughly. We previously couldn't identify the body, but now we finally found a bit of blood in a corner of the room that the killer didn't clean up. After matching the DNA from the blood at the scene, we discovered that the body belongs to the Malatang owner, Ken Lee." I was completely stunned. The dead person was Ken Lee, but wasn't he the killer? This sudden news made me dizzy. The police officer's voice on the phone sounded a bit awkward. This was our mistake in judgment. The crime scene was Ken Lee's kitchen. Plus, the camera at the back door of the Malatang shop recorded a man wearing Ken Lee's clothes driving Ken Lee's car away after the murder. Although the camera didn't capture the man's face because his clothes and height were similar to Ken Lee's. We assumed Ken Lee murdered someone and fled, so we listed Ken Lee as the #1 suspect. But now we've investigated and found out Ken Lee is the deceased. So the killer is someone else, I thought carefully. It was true that from the start I received a message from the Malatang owner, and I instinctively assumed the killer was the owner. But now that I think about it, the killer could have murdered the owner, disposed of the body in his kitchen, and then used his phone to text me. Even the person who later placed a phone outside my door, the camera didn't actually capture their face, so it couldn't prove it was the Malatang owner. I couldn't believe Ken Lee was the victim. So, who was the killer? The officer continued to speak hurriedly on the phone. But no matter what, the killer definitely wants revenge on you. We'll return to your location immediately. You must stay inside and protect yourself. At this moment, I couldn't clearly hear what the police officer was saying anymore, because I suddenly noticed the light in my kitchen was on. My kitchen had opaque glass sliding doors. Although the doors were closed, the light was visible. But I clearly remembered checking all the lights and locking the doors carefully before I left. No one could have gotten in. Unless I suddenly felt the blood in my entire body freeze. Earlier, I rushed downstairs and didn't change the keypad code, so besides me, one other person knew the code to my apartment door. Could it be? My heart lurched. The kitchen door slid open. Ethan Cole carried a pot and smiled at me. "Sarah, want some Malatang?" In that instant, I felt all the blood in my body solidify. The next second, my body reacted faster than my brain. I frantically turned to run out, but it was too late. Ethan Cole was clearly prepared. He lunged, grabbed my hair, and forcefully slammed me to the floor. Ah! My chin hit the floor hard, and the pain made my tears stream out uncontrollably. But I didn't have time to worry about it. I frantically struggled and screamed, "Let go of me, Ethan Cole. You and I have no feud. Why are you treating me like this?" My unintentional remark unexpectedly triggered Ethan Cole's anger. He clenched my hair, forcing me to look up at him. The room lights were off, so we could only rely on the light spilling from the kitchen. The cold white light illuminated his face. The handsome face that had once stirred something in me was now dark, like a demon from hell. "No feud," he sneered. "Sarah Jenkins, have you forgotten about Tiffany Cole?" Tiffany Cole. The moment those two words rang out, I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. My body went rigid. "Tiffany Cole," my lips trembled. "Are you her?" "Yes," Ethan Cole coldly interrupted before I could finish. "Tiffany Cole was my sister. Have you forgotten how you caused her death? How dare you ask me why I'm doing this to you?" My whole body trembled. I never in my wildest dreams imagined that Ethan Cole was Tiffany Cole's brother. Extreme guilt washed over me. For a moment, I even wanted to give up fighting, to let him do as he pleased. But it was just a fleeting moment. I quickly regained my composure and spoke calmly and firmly. "Ethan Cole, listen to me. Tiffany's death pains me too. I know you're hurting, but I am absolutely not the culprit. What happened that year might have started with me, but I am also innocent. Even if you want revenge, you shouldn't target me." Tiffany Cole was my best friend and college roommate. We had a great relationship, eating together, going to class together, and chasing idols together. In our third year of college, we both idolized a top female artist. We both joined the artist's fan club. Once, the artist held a concert, and we both desperately wanted to go. But at the time, we were poor students and couldn't afford tickets, so we could only participate in a fan club lottery. I ended up winning a ticket, but Tiffany didn't. It was also Tiffany's birthday, so I gave the ticket to her. Tiffany was overjoyed and went to the concert alone. But unexpectedly, a crowd crush incident occurred at the concert, and Tiffany didn't survive. After that incident, I went through a period of depression. I blamed myself, I doubted myself, feeling that if I hadn't given Tiffany that ticket, she wouldn't have died. I felt like I was the murderer. But later, with the advice of my parents and a psychologist, I realized the truth. It wasn't my fault. The people who were truly at fault were the organizers. They failed to arrange proper emergency exits and overcrowded the venue. That was the cause of the incident. I shouldn't have let myself live in torment for a lifetime because of a random coincidence. However, the Ethan Cole in front of me clearly didn't think that way. He was just like the me of that year, believing that if I hadn't given Tiffany Cole that ticket, she wouldn't have died. Perhaps it was because he was too resentful, too pained, and perhaps because there was no way for him to vent all his hatred. He couldn't seek revenge on the organizers, nor could he seek revenge on the artist. In the end, he could only unleash all his hatred on me. Hearing my words, a flicker crossed Ethan Cole's eyes. Right after, I saw him give a bitter laugh. Rationally, I know it wasn't your fault. That's why, despite hating you all these years, I never thought of hurting you. But unexpectedly, today, while I was eating Malatang at that shop, I suddenly overheard the owner talking to another customer. As he spoke, Ethan Cole unconsciously clenched his fist, grinding his teeth, his eyes burning with deep hatred. He was also a fan of that damn female artist, and he even mentioned the crowd crush incident from that year. Do you know what I heard him tell someone else? He was such a delusional fan that he said if he could have seen his idol perform just once, he'd be willing to die. He even said the fans who died in the incident were lucky. Haha, can you imagine? A middle-aged man so infatuated with an idol? The important thing is, he can be delusional all he wants, but by what right does he define someone else's death? That was a human life. A living, breathing, human life. I was disgusted. So in a fit of rage, I chopped off his head and made him into Malatang. My entire body trembled. So that's how the Malatang owner died. Truly, words brought misfortune. As I listened to Ethan Cole, I tried to think quickly. I knew that even though my phone call had been disconnected when I fell, the police surely realized something was wrong. They were definitely on their way. My only task now was to stall for time. So, I swallowed hard and said softly, "So you killed him and even made him into Malatang." Ethan Cole looked down at me and gave a small, light laugh. That's right. After killing him, I noticed a delivery order on the counter. That's when I realized how small the world is. You just happened to order food from this Malatang shop. I thought this must be fate. It was fate wanting me to punish you properly. Since it's fate, how could I ignore it? So I turned him into Malatang, partly to torment you, and partly to dispose of the body. So that bowl of Malatang really was... My stomach churned, and I was on the verge of throwing up, but I managed to force myself to speak calmly. And then what? You pretended to be the delivery guy to come find me? That's right, Ethan Cole said coldly. After I processed the body, the delivery guy arrived. I gave him a large sum of money and told him to give me his clothes and impersonate Ken Lee to drive out of the city. He never entered the kitchen, so he didn't know I killed someone. He just thought I was playing a prank and couldn't resist the temptation of that large sum of money, so he agreed. So the person the police caught driving Ken Lee's car out of the city and getting into an accident was actually the delivery guy who was supposed to deliver my food. Ethan Cole spoke again, his voice cold and sinister. My plan was originally flawless, but I didn't expect to be so unlucky. Someone heard Ken Lee's miserable scream before he died and called the police. It was only now that I understood. The person who initially called the police was not Ethan Cole at all. Thinking back, when Ethan Cole first told me he had called the police, I never saw him do it with my own eyes. So, he was lying to me then. He never called the police. Even the photo of the police arriving at the shop that the owner posted on the food delivery platform was probably posted by him using the owner's phone, an edited image. His initial use of the Malatang to scare me was a way to approach me using the delivery guy's identity. His pretense of having called the police but saying it was a prank was to stop me from calling the police. But he didn't expect someone else to discover the crime scene and actually call the police. Since it was someone else who called the police, it made sense why the police were initially completely unaware that I had received the Malatang and the photos on the food delivery platform. Ethan Cole continued with a chilling voice. "The first time I came to your house, I actually wanted to kill you, but you were too cautious, opening the door for me but keeping the security chain locked. Afterward, because the police started investigating Kenley's death, I had to be more careful, unable to risk the police suspecting me. So, I intentionally called the police once. It was to clear myself of suspicion and to gain your trust." Ethan Cole looked at me and gave a twisted smile, and I succeeded. "You actually told me your front door code. After that, I destroyed the camera outside your door. With no camera and no signs of forced entry on your main door, I could easily frame your death as a suicide." The only thing is, Ethan Cole's expression turned cold. I didn't expect that useless delivery guy to be so incompetent, getting into a traffic accident and getting caught so quickly. But it doesn't matter. I disposed of Ken Lee's body very cleanly. As long as I dispose of you cleanly too, the police won't suspect me. It was clear that when I called the police earlier, Ethan Cole, who was in the kitchen, probably only heard me return but didn't clearly hear my conversation with the police. Therefore, he didn't know that at the crime scene of Ken Lee's murder, a small trace of his blood had been missed and discovered. He also didn't know the police had called me, much less that they were on their way, which is why he spent so long rambling to me. "All right," he said, picking up the knife and smiling chillingly. "After all that talking, you should die now." With that, he raised the cleaver in his hand and swung it down towards me. Wait, I wanted to run in panic, but I couldn't escape, only managing to dodge slightly. The knife slashed my arm. Intense pain instantly struck me, and fresh blood immediately stained my clothes. The pain was so severe I almost passed out, but I couldn't, because Ethan Cole was swinging down again. This time, the target was my neck. I couldn't move, and I desperately closed my eyes, waiting for death. But unexpectedly, right at that moment, "Don't move!" A loud shout rang out. The bedroom door was violently pushed open, and several police officers rushed in. Ethan Cole's face changed drastically when he saw the police. Finally, he understood that all my rambling was just to buy time. Enraged, he tried to swing the knife down one more time, but it was too late. The police officers lunged forward, quickly subduing him. The knife in Ethan Cole's hand dropped to the floor. "I'm saved! Sarah Jenkins, you just wait!" Ethan Cole screamed as he was led away by the police. The police officers also moved towards me. "Miss Jenkins," the officer looked at me apologetically. "Are you all right? We'll take you to the hospital to treat your wound." I nodded and was helped up by the officer. When we went downstairs, I saw Ethan Cole being put into a police car. Finally, I couldn't help but ask Ethan Cole what will happen to him. The police officer replied with an impassive expression, "Intentional murder, and the circumstances are so severe. It's likely at least life imprisonment." This answer provided some relief. After all, I had witnessed the extent of Ethan Cole's hatred for me. If he was only jailed for a few years and released, I knew he would still seek revenge on me. He had lost all reason. There was no way I could use logic to make him understand that Tiffany's death that year was not my fault. If it was life imprisonment, then I was safe. But at the same time, I felt a hint of sadness in my heart. I looked up at the sky outside. "Tiffany, your little brother ended up like this. Are you sad?"